Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Tuesday Leadership Tip. Today, I want to talk about something I see a lot out there in the field, and it's this sink or swim culture that we often have, and sometimes not even notice. And it's not just in retail automotive, but it's in many industries. I'll give you an example. My sister just got a promotion and found herself left to figure things out on her own. And that's kind of a common scenario, but not just for new hires. It could be for veterans and everybody else. Really, anyone in the dealership. I think sometimes as managers, we underestimate just how much coaching and guidance people really need. I recently came across a post from an incredibly successful person in our industry who does a lot of sales training. And what he said really backed up what I've seen over the years about what builds success. So let me read what he said to you. He said, every single week, I test my salespeople with their memorization. I throw new word tracks at them every week to get better and grow. They are studying nonstop. Why? Because repetition creates mastery. Most of you think this takes time away from the phone and making calls, but here's the truth. What you're forgetting is this training skyrockets their closing rates. I'd rather have a team spend 2 hours less on the phone and close twice as much than grind all day and barely move the needle. Quit throwing away qualified leads just because your people don't know what to say under pressure. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your training. Your team is either getting sharper every week or they're slowly getting duller and costing you money. Be the leader that raises their standard, not the one who just hopes they figure it out. All right, so here's the takeaway. When you think about this week ahead, think about your coaching sessions, your meetings, your one-on-ones. How much are you talking versus how much are your team members talking? I once worked with the largest Ford dealership in Illinois, and one of the largest dealerships in the country, and they did things incredibly well. When they had meetings, boy, they were peppering. They were getting the employees to talk. They were pulling it out of them, having them coach each other, doing role playing, doing those, putting them on the spot type of things, which got them sharper and practice their skills. Now, I know nobody loves role playing, right? But if you can role play with your boss and your coworkers, you're going to crush it when it comes to the real thing with a real customer. I think about somebody like Tom Brady. He practiced those same drills from Pee-wee all the way up into his 40s. Sometimes they're probably running the same plays 1,000 times over again. But that repetition and that coaching is what made him great. So my challenge for you this week is to look at how you're practicing with your team. What plays do they need to run more often? Is it greeting the customer? Is it handling objections? Is it overcoming issues? And then practice that again and again and again, because that's going to get them ready and get their confidence up for when it's the real deal. So you, as their leader, look for those opportunities. I remember there was a manager once where I was talking with him in his office, and right outside of his office, there was a salesperson just sitting on their phone, watching the day go by, and it got him very frustrated. And I looked at it as, there's an opportunity. There's actually a cry for help there. You go out there, you sit down and say, okay, let's get going. Where can we start? Let's get a hold of a customer. Let me make a call. Let me show you how it's done, and then you try a few. There's a movie, Wolf of Wall Street. For many of you who've seen it before, I urge you to go back and watch it again, because in it, you see Jordan Belfort, and this is a true story. He pulled just Joe Schmo, friends, randoms, and made them wildly successful. But if you watch in that movie, and there's a lot of the movie, let's face it, he didn't do a lot of things the right way. But one thing he did the right way is he energized his team, and he coached, and he coached, and he practiced. There was a scene where he's on the phone, and all of them are behind him, and they're basically cheering him on, watching in awe as he closes this sale. And then in later scenes, you see him right over the shoulder of the salespeople as they're making their calls, and he's listening, and he's high-fiving, and he's building them up. So Having that kind of spirit of encouragement, but also of training and coaching, I think is going to make all the difference and can really separate your dealership versus the competition. So, good luck with this week, and I wish you the best. As always, feel free to chime in and let me know your thoughts. Take care.